absolutely buzzing, and this is obviously our first time in America, but just like the last few months have been a crazy whirlwind. I mean, we did 7 countries in Europe. We ended up playing to like 30,000 people across the UK and Europe, and now we're 2-3 months down the line, we're now in America, we're now sat here with you, you know, drinking beers and having whiskey. You know, it's like, that's the dream, isn't it? You know, so like, this is what it's about for us. You know, meeting people and being there, that's what life is about. It's about excitement.
Creating memories.
And creating memories.
Punk is our main influence, or punk, post-punk, stuff like that. That's what we grew up listening to. Our dad was into punk and was in punk bands in the 80s.
Yeah, he used to drop us off at school in like this banger of a car, a Nissan Bluebird, I think it was. It had a different coloured door to the rest of the other car, but he had this tape. I always remember it. It's like Give 'Em Enough Rope by The Clash on one side, and then the flip side was a reggae compilation called Frontline, and it was like, that for me is just like, those two things there was just, wow, this is music.
I mean, we have no reggae songs.
We don't play reggae, but it was just like, you know, that just sounded like music to me. So it was like, yeah, The Clash and Dead Kennedys, obviously, because Mick's wearing my t-shirt, but yeah, all sorts.
When we say like punk's our main influence, I think as in the punk energy, the punk attitude, and I think modern punk is in a lot of music. It's more of a way of life, I think. It's a way of approaching things. We like good music that's got that realness and that energy, and that can be any genre. And nowadays, you know, genres don't matter. There's 2 genres, good and bad.
For us, it's about determination to succeed in like an industry that's full of silver spoons and handouts. We're doing it DIY, so we've self-managed for so long, and there's no team behind us really, and you know, we're living proof that it can be done. So a month-long tour with Slaves, and now we're in Austin, putting the old school punk roots back into the industry. Myself and Stu are youth workers, so a lot of the content on the album is about everyday sort of like battles that people are faced with, especially the young people who are sort of falling down in society through no sort of fault of their own, but we're working with people who have been turned away by traditional education or turned away by even their parents, you know. So like, you know, we have myself and Stu's jobs, you know, we're working with people who don't have that support network, so it makes us angry and it makes us want to talk about injustice in the world. So yeah, I mean, we're always going to talk about it. We wear our hearts on our sleeves, really.
Yeah.
You know, passion.
We don't try to be like a political band, but it's been a crazy year, really, the past year, generally over here and back where, you know, in UK for politics. It's hard not to discuss it at the minute. Good art and good music always comes out of that. That's the one good side of it. Especially, I mean, we've been into that kind of stuff, and punk music, as particularly, or some kind of, there's always anger to it. And when it feels like there is more anger in society, that helps. Obviously, we're not just playing on that, but it seems to fit in.
Music that has something to say and lasts longer normally happens in a climate where you're being shat on. I guess that's what we are. We're being shat on, aren't we? So, you know, I think there's a lot more to say when the climate is that dark. Music becomes a lot more exciting. You have the right to bear arms if you've got the right coloured arms on the right side of the law. We ain't got anything to lose because we're doing it all ourselves. So why not say it? Yeah. That's how I see it, you know. It's not as if we've got a label telling us not to, so we'll say what we want. But I mean, our lyrics are quite abstract as well, so they can be to the point, but they can also be a bit gonzo. Because myself and Mick both like writing different styles of lyrics as well. I think the next big thing in music is ownership. I think ownership of your music and ownership in terms of the artist owning themselves as an artist. I think that would be the next big thing in music, and I think it looks like that's the way it's going to go, which would be refreshing, I think.